All right, today let's talk about signing services, signing companies versus title direct, or as I like to say, client direct, because I think title direct is limiting you, it's limiting your market, it's limiting your marketing thought process by limiting your marketing target. But I want to talk about the difference between the two because I think a lot of notaries, especially new notaries, don't quite understand the difference of the two, and discerning the difference is important to your business. And not just knowing the difference, but knowing how they operate can give you better perspective, as well as the different types of signing services, because not all signing services are the same. So to help you understand how they work, the different ones, and what they're doing for you, what their role plays with you and with anybody else involved, and give you the right perspective on this industry, because see, a lot of notaries get into this and they very mistakenly, and they set themselves up kind of for failure and kind of to have a bad vibe, I guess, or say a bad attitude, because they are mistaken about the role of a signing service and their role as a notary. So let's see if we can clear some of that up. Okay, so different types of signing services. So they're not all the same, and they're not all solely transacting in real estate either. So the basis of a signing service is they are, for the most part, and for most of them, they are a middleman between a notary and an end customer, which usually is a title company of sorts. So that is the basic concept. So now, as a middleman, they, of course, being the one that's overseeing the transaction, being the one that is, we'll say, procuring a notary, are going to have some fee sharing involved with you. So naturally, there's this inclination as a notary to go, well, I'm not getting the full fee because of this service involved. While that is correct, there is also a benefit to you for using a signing service. And I want to talk about a little of both of those, okay? So when it comes to the fee sharing, of course, I believe it should be equitable for all parties involved. I don't think that it should be upside down. And we've talked about in other videos kind of the nasty signing services that are out there that just are just way underpaying notaries, undercutting everything, and maybe even overcharging their end customer, which I don't think is very good business practice either. But there are ones that do that, and we've done reviews on different companies. But for the most part, I would like to think a lot of them created what we call an equitable transaction, meaning it's good for all parties involved. We certainly strive to do that with our service. But let's talk about these signing services. So first of all, you've got very large signing services that are actually nationwide signing services that are actually in-house, what I would call an in-house signing service. So this is, so they work just for themselves and just for the title company that they are actually part owner of. So a classic example of this would be Title 365, okay? Title 365 is its own title company and its own signing service for its own purposes. Another example would be Amrock. So Amrock is a title company, and Amrock has its own signing service department in its company. And Amrock is actually a lender as well. Quicken Loans is part of the Amrock Corporation. So that is, or Rocket Mortgage, they're now calling themselves. So that is another example of nationwide title company plus nationwide signing service, all under one umbrella. So there's some large ones like that, that's how they operate. They generally don't serve other title companies or other vendors. Their signing service exists to serve themselves. So another company that does kind of an in-house, so to say, is Old Republic Title. They kind of manage their own network internally. So while they're not technically a signing service, they are managing their own signings internally. So there's a couple examples of some large ones. Now, smaller scale ones that what we call like your mom and pop signing services are going to generally, they're like you, okay? That's what I want you to understand. They are essentially, these are notaries like you, like me. They go out and they at least started out going out and doing signings, just like you. Now, as a part of their growing their business, they have grown their business to a point that they have an abundance of these signings, whatever they might be, whether these are title things or these are general notary things. And they are essentially sharing that wealth with you. They're getting compensated for it, and so are you. So you as a notary are in a unique position that you can take advantage of this phenomenon, okay? So their abundance and their ability to have this already established flow of business can in turn give you business with very little efforts on your part other than connecting with them and happening to be in a service area where they need a contract filled. So that, for me, I really liked that starting out, because as I started out, I wasn't well established, didn't have a lot of marketing tools at my disposal at that time or in force. So I liked that idea. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's a good place to start, it's a bad place to stay, okay? Now, if you're in the side hustle zone, you know, like you're a mom who's, you know, you just, this is just something you do extra, so you're like a stay-at-home mom and you just go run out and do a little notary work here and there. And my sister does that, you know, I mean, and that's great. It's so, there's probably really no reason for you to go any further than that. You get a few notifications here and there, you decide if you want to go, you know, do a gig for some quick money. Now, with these, so that's the other contrast to that. Now, there are signing services also that do other things, not just, we constantly kind of pigeonhole them into title real estate stuff. This is absolutely not the case, okay? There is a signing service called N3 Notary, and they basically, their niche, so to say, is I-9 verifications. There is a signing service called Mavericks, and their niche is auto loans. So they work with a lot of car dealerships to send notaries to fill out the rest of the purchase agreements for cars that are going to be shipped to people, because people buy cars online. So there's more and more examples of that. Again, most of them, like the closing signing service, Comfortable Closings, they generally tend to stick right into the real estate market, and essentially what they're doing is marketing business to business, B2B as we call it, to title companies. And then when they have these title company orders, they're going out and they're using platforms, usually like SnapDocs or Signing Order, to send an order out to their network of notaries. So that is an example of that. Now there's hybrid signing services, and a classic example would be, and what I mean by hybrid is they do all kinds of different notary jobs. So while they do a lot of real estate transactions, they do a lot of mobile general notary stuff. One example would be yours truly, Mobile Notary Signing Service. We do a lot of all things notary. Probably the largest one that I can think of, or the most successful in this space, is Unlimited Ink Notary. So Unlimited Ink, same thing. While they do the real estate stuff and have a lot of title contracts, they also do a lot of stuff that is just serving the general public, or it's serving maybe attorneys, and it's serving hiring firms as well. So that would be a hybrid model. Now, why are there signing services that run this hybrid model? Well, because us have figured out that this is a stable business model that's very recession proof. So back when things went pretty much bust in 2022, a lot of signing services went belly up and disappeared. A lot of title companies went belly up and disappeared. I can think of a couple off the top of my head. Solidify, up with smoke, gone with the wind. Inspire Closing Services, gone with the wind. X marks the spot signing. Never heard from them again. I haven't heard from them since 2022-ish. So a lot of them gone. Even title companies, like right down the road from where I live in New Smyrna, First American Title had an office there. I've been in that office more times than I can count, doing more closings than I can count, and they're gone. They're gone. That office is closed. That building is empty. Up in smoke. One of our biggest lenders that we used to contract with, one of the biggest ones we had, Christensen Financial, gone in smoke. All Florida Title, haven't heard from them in years. Gone. So that happens. That was a thing. So, but if you have a diversified signing service and local notary service, you can hedge that bet with other things, and that's exactly what Mr. Ronnie Mickle's doing with Unlimited Ink, and that's exactly what we're doing with Mobile Notary Signing Service, albeit at a smaller scale than him. So still same concept. We are notaries like you. We've expanded. We're sharing this wealth with other notaries who are just starting out, or maybe are even seasoned, but you're getting extra work from us. Now, let's talk about the pay, because this seems to be a lot of notaries seem to get hung up on this, and I want to address this in a couple of ways. And the main issue is your mindset. Okay, so I do believe that for, say, like a refinance or a purchase that's close to you, I generally have a problem with doing that for less than $90. I won't do it for less than $90 myself. I like to see those around $90 to $100. If I'm going to go do it, I'd ideally get $100. That was what I was doing when Inspire was actually in business. They pay $100 a pop for about an 80-page refi. It was super quick, easy money. You're in and out in 30 minutes. It was great money. I'm sorry, it's great money. Now, if you had the contract with Freedom Mortgage and they were coming to you directly, could you get $150? Sure, but you don't. Inspire had it. So $100's still good money. That's just how I see that. Okay, I just see that as an equitable transaction. There are notaries that go, I won't do any of them for $150 or $175. Well, okay, but you don't really have that choice with the signing service, because they are sharing the wealth. They are giving you a piece of it. Now, if it was more upside down than that, I get it. But if it's equitable and it's still good money, it still makes good sense, you should take it. I mean, let's think about it. If you can do 4 refis in a day and they take about a half hour each and they're pretty close to your location, well, it's $400 a day, okay, for part-time work. That is good money, okay? Could you do less and make more with direct? Yes. So the answer is go get more direct, okay? Just go get more direct. And that solves that problem. If you're not getting more direct, you're not getting enough, well, then you are kind of at the mercy of using these other signing services who, again, as we said, are just notaries like you who have marketed themselves. They're further along their journey. So, and now there's nothing stopping you from doing what they're doing what I'm doing. There's nothing stopping you. If there's something stopping you, it's just your lack of knowledge. It's your lack of implementation of things that can get you to that point. And I certainly hope you do. And that's why we have training, because we absolutely want notaries to get the most of that. So we want you to be able to get to your goals, for sure. So now, the mindset that comes with notaries that I won't accept a lowball offer. Well, neither will I, but what's your definition and your perspective of lowball? Because as I just said, I just showed you my cards. 100 to me for a refi is, unless it's 200 pages. I mean, at 100 pages or less, a pretty equitable transaction. I'm okay with that. That's good money for me. So I will do those all day. But there's notaries who apparently are too good for that for some reason or another. But this is an attitude problem. Now, there's one more problem with this that I want to address, and this is what I call the lifetime customer value. Okay, so we got to start thinking like a seasoned entrepreneur and not an amateur. Okay, so the amateur notaries that say that one transaction is worth more than that to me, and I won't do it, they're not getting the big picture. The big picture is that one transaction can introduce you to repeat clientele. The people you go see, it can open up more doors for you that creates lifetime value of transactions, i.e. a book of business, and grows your business. So you have to look at the transaction in its entirety, not just the dollar value on the one. So those are, there's my spin for signing services. There's the difference. Again, just notaries. If you want to have more of those title direct or customer direct, because again, there's more customers out there and customers for you, what you need to do is you need to deliver excellent services. You need to be grateful. You need to do good work. You need to deliver excellent services, and you need to treat everybody you come across like your most valuable customer. And if you can do that, that will help you to grow your business.